Hey, good morning, Homestead family. So today we are making some bread and butter pickles. First things that I wanted to share with you is I have washed these and we're going to cut these up into 1/4 inch thick slices. But we've grown several kinds of cucumbers on the homestead this year. So these are the long green cucumbers. And look, because we planted our cucumbers so thick and so close together, we've got quite a few cucumbers that kind of just got away with us. So we've got quite a few large cucumbers, but that's okay because we're going to be slicing those up. But we're using the long green cucumbers for the bread and butter pickles. We also have, I believe these are Marketmore cucumbers. We're going to be doing something a little different with them later in another video. And then we have our national pickling cucumbers that we're also going to do something with those as well. So stay tuned for later videos. Be sure to hit the like and subscribe button and hit that notification bell so when we do put out new videos, you get a notification. One other thing is sometimes cucumbers don't get spotted in time. Like I said, they grow extremely large, but also these turn a little yellow, and when they get this way, they're not really edible. So, but we don't let those go to waste. Those go to our chickens, and they love those overripe cucumbers. After I've washed my cucumbers, the first thing I'm going to do is just take the ends off of each one, and I keep those in my little compost bin that I'll be putting out to the compost later today. So I'm going to cut the cucumbers about 1/4 inch thick. I don't know if you can see that, but it's a pretty good little slice. And I'll just be cutting all these cucumbers up. And to that, I'm going to add a couple of onions as well. Okay, so we've chopped up all of the cucumbers, and now I have just like a piece of an onion here and a whole onion here. I'm gonna slice this up, add it to the pickles, and then we're gonna add salt to this and mix it all up real good and let it sit for a little while. So I think I'm gonna add, I want the onions to look a little like, when they come apart, I want them to be like a little circle-ish like this. So this is the way I'm going to cut these onions. Again, when you have bad stuff, it just goes in the little compost bin to save, to make new vegetables out of. Also, I was going to let you know that this is an extremely sharp knife, and I've hurt myself really bad on it before, so it kind of scares me. But I was going to let you know that our crock of dill pickles over here are coming along nicely. The aroma seeps out every now and then, and you can just smell the goodness coming from there. We have a couple more weeks still on those pickles, but we'll give you an update when we pull those out as well. So let me slice this off. The skin off. And add these to our cucumbers. So we're going to be using the canning and pickling salt, but like I said, you don't have to use that. But it's just what I have on hand, so that's what I'm going to be using. So we're going to sort of put some in there. Mix it around a little bit. This is a bowl full of cucumbers. I can smell those onions too. They smell really good. Wish we had smell-o-vision. Okay, I think that's pretty good. Oops. And we're just gonna I'm gonna cover this and let this sit for a little while. We'll be back.
I have a bucket of feed for the chickens, and I have a bucket of overripe cucumbers. I'm gonna blow these chickens' mind. Good morning, girls. You ready? Are you hungry? This one girl, watch her. She's a little, make herself at home when the chicken feed comes. Ugh. They're loving the cucumbers.
So we are back. The cucumbers have sat in the salt for about 4 hours now, and I've washed them and rinsed them and drained them, and so now we're going to start the bread and butter pickle vinegar solution. So here's what we need. I've got my jars warming on the stove here. And so when this mixture gets cooked, then we'll be putting them in warm jars so we don't crack putting hot stuff in a cold jar. What we need is we're going to mix 3 cups of white vinegar. You can use apple cider vinegar if you prefer. And then 5 cups of sugar. And then to this mixture, I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of yellow mustard seeds. 1, 2. I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of turmeric. Oops, this one's not been opened. We're going to add 1/4 teaspoon of cloves, whole cloves, and 1½ teaspoons of celery seed. Let's do this. 1 1/2. And so we're going to mix all this together I'm gonna put some heat to it so the sugar will dissolve, and then I'm going to pour it over my cucumbers and get them going. Now that the mixture is dissolved into this pot, and I heated it just a little bit to get that sugar dissolved, and I still think there's a little bit in there, but it'll be okay because we're gonna pour it over. I've put the cucumbers into this pot, which is basically a water bath canner, but it had so many cucumbers that I just needed something large to put it in. So I'm gonna pour this over my cucumbers, put it on the stove, and bring it to a boil. So here's what we've got going on. We've got the cucumbers in the vinegar and sugar water with the spices. So we're going to cook this down a little bit. And over here, let me put the top on. Over here, we have the jars heated. I think I'm going to turn that off because they'll probably just stay warm now. And then we have our lids and hot water over here. So we'll be back in about 10 minutes. Okay, so there's our pickles, and we're going to ladle these pickles into, I have jars over here, and we need about I believe it's a 1/2 inch headspace at the top of the jar, from the top of the jar. So here we go. Okay, so we are just making sure all the air bubbles are out before we put the lids on. Ready?
Yep.
Okay, so I'm just going to put a little bit of vinegar on a paper towel so that I can, this is a pretty sticky recipe with all the sugar in it. So I'm just going around making sure I've got all the rims cleaned off real well so that we get a good seal on these jars. You don't want to put all this work in and then your jars not seal well. All right. So we water bath canned and let it boil for 10 minutes and took them out of the canner and are letting them cool now. And this is what we got from our cucumbers that we started with. We've taste tested them and they are delicious. So guys, always remember, do your best and watch God do the rest.